We're just going to do a quick video here. Oh, I should never do quick videos. Everything is your big mouth. Listen, fellas, I get it, right? But this will be kind of quick. I just want to give you an update on some of the stuff and just talk a little bit about blowers for a minute. So this Echo over here, this PB, is on my channel. Customer's coming a little bit. He wants to buy it. He was referred to me the other day, just a fellow in the neighborhood, right? Quick sale. He was referred to me by someone else who, you know, I think it's another Mike. And he brought over this blower, this exact blower, his blower. And he put, it was used by his father and it wasn't terrible. It was dirty. It was in okay shape. But he went to go use it and he put regular gas in it. And, you know, he's gray here. When I needle at him, right, to try to poke at him, like what really happened, he kind of admitted, oh, it was good when I had it running. I said, did you have it running with your father's gas? Because it looks like it was been running for some time. Well, I don't know. He put regular gas in. It may have been in for a lot longer time. You can't even pull it. So I mentioned to him last night, it was getting late. I said, well, I just did one and it's on my channel. This is on my channel. I took a quick vid of it running, sent it over to him today, and I said, you know, if you want it, you can have it. Work something out. So he's on his way right now. But I figured while I had everything out, right, so this is a Chinese style power mate, power more, all of that. I'm going to be going over this soon. That'll eventually be on the channel. I cleaned it up. This, as you know, is on my channel. I cleaned these up. And so as we kind of do the spin arounds, that you see what's here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is very new. This is maybe a few years old. I forget what it is. It's on there. But it's very lightweight, fellas. Very, very lightweight. Whereas this 32cc, and let me come over this way. I think he's here. The 32cc is much heavier. So let me just check, because if he's here, I got to go get him. Yeah, fellas, Joe's here, so I'll make it quick. So I wanted to just kind of go through real quick. This is new, very light, as I mentioned. This is much older. These were like suitcase style blowers, 32cc. You can rebuild this motor, not that you would need to, but if you wanted to. Very heavy. They're rating it at 175 miles per hour. I'll give you the date later. We'll poke at it. I don't think this is on my channel. I've had this around for quite a while. I rebuilt it years ago. It just needs a quick, you know, going over because it stopped working. Probably hoses, you know. And just so you can see it, I just cleaned this up real quick. This one actually has an extra handle. Whereas this one just has this little knob here, sort of grab. But this one actually has a handle. It's very difficult to pull. It's been sitting out a long time. It might be dead, but I cleaned it up. And we'll go through this because they're parts for each other. They're basically the same thing. And of course they rate it the same way. They're calling it a 32cc at 360 CFM. That's what really matters. At 170 miles per hour. That's the volume of air, because you need a lot of volume, not just pressure. I mean, my air hose has a lot of pressure, but no volume, right? Coming out of a little hole. So when you want to move a lot of leaves around, and of course you can come up to something like this, and then that will really move a lot of leaves around. But this is a smaller homeowner style, and you guys may have seen some of the bigger ones, right, that are out there. What they call a ground blower, ground leaf blower. Some of them even have the ability to do some chipping, and you've seen some of the ones where they got the thing in the front. It's like a vacuum cleaner. It's got a little chipper on the side. It's got a bag in the back. Those are really nice. That's the one I was talking about with my brother on the live stream. And around the same time, I want to say a little bit newer, they start blow molding this. Oh, there's a little spider right there. Let me get him. We get him now. All right, so I just blew it off. It's been sitting outside. This one pulls over. Not that that's, you know, I've actually repaired these in the past and sold them and used them for a while. This is a little bit lighter, and this is the direction they started going in. And again, I'll look for dates and I'll put the tags in the video. But that's the direction they started going in. So you could see the lineup. This is very lightweight, somewhat problematic. This is something that's more new. This is what we wound up with as time went on. And this is also something we wound up with. Chinese, mostly Chinese with a more American or branded name. This is what's coming out now, PowerMate, PowerMore. Gone will be the days of anything Briggs or anything like that. Now, Craftsman, by the way, many people think Craftsman makes their stuff. Who made this, I don't know, but Craftsman doesn't make anything. And back in the day, what Craftsman really was known for was their styling and their additional engineering and then their quality control. So when they had somebody make it, they added a little bit more styling, they got the branding. With that, you got a little bit better quality, a few features that you may not see, and they also would stock a hell of a lot of parts. Not too far from here, there used to be a major service center and repair center, and it was also like a parts center as well. So you didn't have to travel very far. Days before not mail order, but like Amazon and stuff, you could get anything you want, and then they would fix it for you. So gone are those days. That's what this is from that time frame. This is, and to get you out of here on that, this is sell it, run it. They last about 10 years. When it breaks, no one can fix it because the price point isn't there. I can't get enough to really fix it, and I can't overcharge the customer, and many times you can't fix it. Yeah, you can get a carburetor and a few other things, but if you damage the motor or you don't mix the fuel right, you're done. So let me get you out of here on that, and Joe is waiting. So anything else, let me know in the comments. All right, fellas. Now, in closing, so this is the outro, but this is important. So I just want to go over some of the differences one more time and dial in a little bit more. For those that have not watched the Echo rebuild, refurbish, repair, and modification, where I had to modify the muffler. So I just want to go over that real quick. And this is to show you the differences in the quality. Even an Echo name or a Still name, once they start transitioning their, well, literally everything. I also have a box store, Depot Lowe's, John Deere zero turn, and also the John Deere LT 100, 110 lawn tractors. Those are garbage, right? You can't fix them. Once the transmission goes, the cost of repair is so high that at some point put that money towards another machine. The John Deere zero turn is a little beefier, but it's made a little higher up on the echelon, right? When we talk about echelons, you have prosumer, consumer. So there's prosumer stuff for my cameras and everything. I'm running prosumer. These are a notch below, one notch below, basically the professional series cameras, which are more than double the price. These are still expensive. Cameras like this are still very expensive, okay? They're easily modifiable. They fit into a niche somewhere in between. Let's put it this way, right? Unless you have a lot of money and you're doing really well on YouTube, you don't always need, the top of the line. But prosumer is nice. It's certainly well above things like GoPros and some of the stuff like that, or using an older cell phone, something like this. As well, a Samsung, which is still useful, okay? Now, to take that into this world, what I have found, and this isn't just opinion, this is fact. So if you want to go look at the Echo blower rebuild, that Echo, the one that I sold him, what I found was a couple of things, and I talked with him about it. So he's okay, he's happy. I said, keep your old machine around. We'll get back to that in a minute. The carburetor, when we look at the carburetor and I rebuilt it, it was in really nice shape. It didn't really need a rebuild. It had very little junk in it. Just the screen caught a little bit. You could replace the bladder, right, the pump bladder and all that. But the biggest problem was in the throttle itself. And when we look at it, we see that the way it was designed was, and even he said it's like a manufacturer's defect. Yeah, it's not the blow molding of the plastic and the final machining or whatever was off just enough to where the throttle was hitting that screw as it rolls over it, lifting the throttle up, causing some problems, sticky. It didn't want to idle. Just poor quality, not great. Even though these were supposed to be, Echo, decent machines, sourcing good parts, the quality was low there. And so I said, save yours And if you a couple of years from now and the hoses go bad or whatever, if you still want to fix it, I've got your machine to work against. His motor is dead because he put the regular gas in it. He seized the engine, but the other parts are there, and he has it. It was his father's. He can hang it back up on the wall. Now, when we look at the muffler, this thing would not make RPM. It wouldn't run, and it wouldn't idle. And once again, the design of the muffler was so restrictive to deal with noise and emission issues. They castrated the machine, and the quality wasn't there. And again, this is usually the past California emissions, Carb and what have you. They're trying to get rid of them. I mean, California got rid of it. So part of what happens there is as they're getting rid of it, they're making it almost impossible to make one of these machines work properly. And as I had even mentioned in the Carb rebuild video, that they had stopped installing that little disc, that little flapper on the choke. They just left the arm, the actuator arm with the flat. And Craftsman was doing that to their line trimmers for a while. Oh, let me shut that off. That's the air compressor. Hold on. Oh, can't you set everything up straight? No, now the heat will come on a little bit. So, and when the machine was new, you could turn the choke, the faux choke on, and prime it, and it would start and run. But as soon as these engines start to get a little bit of age on them, and they're not treated well, and they get hot because they get dirty or whatever the thing is, I can't get them to work anymore. Now, can you replace that with a different carburetor? Yeah, yada, yada, yada. At some point, I can only sell these things between $50 and $100, somewhere in there. A line trimmer might be $50. I can't do it. The money isn't there, and I talk about this a lot on my live shows. The money is not there. If you want to try to fix it and you want to blow some money on some aftermarket questionable carburetor and throw it on there and see what happens, that's a good thing to do, especially if you're learning. Why not, right? But I can't do it. The average mechanic can't do it. They can't afford to do this. And the pricing structure at the big box stores, those that shall remain unnamed, it just isn't there. So a person can go out and just buy another one or buy an electric one. Now, he said he had a small electric one. It's crap. He said it's crap. The battery doesn't last, and you have to literally hold the blower nozzle up to something to get it to move. He said at least this one worked while he had it working. So that's the kind of sad state of affairs. And of course, I could go on and on about this scenario. These are just examples of what you see in some of the newer stuff that's out there versus the older one. Now, I'm about to go, I've got up on my table, I got those 3 hand blowers, those, I call them suitcase. They open up like the old Dell computers. Remember, if you guys remember, and you have to take the halves apart. And that's not so bad, but when you got to get the fuel lines at exactly the right length. And I show that on another video on, what the hell is it? Yellow Mac Hedge trimmer. I don't know if I've released it yet. That one was not as critical, but I had found a nice length last time I went over it, and I copied those lengths. So my advice to you is, if you find one of these old suitcases or any machine, take pictures, try to save the old lines so that you know what the general lengths are. Make notes. And in the case of the suitcase blowers, I have to be dead on because I've made that mistake, put it all back together, pinched a line, had to take it apart. Yeah, I'm going to go over there now and get the red one going because I had it working. And it just died, and I left it sit for, I don't know, a season, 2 seasons, whatever. I was using other things. They're built really well. It's very, very heavy. They respond well generally to repairs. All of the older machines, 2010, somewhere between 2000 and 2010, I would say, is where you might have the most luck. They are older. They're getting older now. And you're going to find probably the most benefit, the most luck. But listen, I don't mess with a lot of two-strokes because, like this guy, I say it all the time. If they don't get the mix right, or if they don't mix it at all, there's nothing I can do with the machine at that point. They've ruined it. I had another fellow that thought, and I put this out last year, I think it was a line trimmer that the fellow said, he said to himself, well, if I put a little more oil in, that can't hurt, right? Maybe it's got to be a benefit. absolutely wrong because it couldn't burn that extra bit of oil. The oil turned to carbon. It got carbonized from the heat in the attempt to try to burn it or utilize it. It gooled everything up. And once you get a carbon buildup inside of one of these things, it's abrasive. Carbon is abrasive. The engine can't clear it. And in that case, the engine couldn't get rid of it. And it scored everything and just destroyed it and gooled it all up. So this is another reason why I tend not to do too many two-strokes unless I see something or I know it's really good. We're not talking about saws here. We're not talking about the higher-end steel products or something like that that can be completely rebuilt. These are professional grade. Again, prosumer, consumer, pro. Pro, you got a shot. Bigger machines, you got a shot. Machines from some of the older years, 2010, if you can get them in good enough shape, you got a shot. Consumer, get screwed. And so are the mechanics. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching this episode of Archer's Garage.